Hey everybody, I'm back again today. Great to have you back. So, just doing one of my little car ride, kind of just updates. This one's going to be kind of me venting about just stuff that's been going on. So it's like, as I've said, I'm a father, a couple of kids, and I know kids can be kids, and I would do anything to protect my kids, but right now, I do have just a few things I need to get off my chest, because I know a lot of people probably deal with some of these situations, and it's something I just want to put out there, get off my chest, and let people know that if they are dealing with it, they're not alone. So my kids, I'm not going to name the school or name anything in the situation, so it's just going to be very vague from that aspect, but my kids have been dealing with a significant bullying issue at their school for most of this year, and over the course of the past several years there have been other issues with bullying as well, and the school hasn't been taking care of it. For having a zero tolerance policy on bullying, there is clearly not a zero tolerance policy. Just this year alone, my son's been dealing with recurring, ongoing bullying from students, where we've actually contacted the school numerous times. I know, for the most part, I know kids can be kids and they need to learn how to handle and settle things themselves, but it got to several points where my wife and I, we had to get involved and reach out to the school and just be like, what's going on here? And several times we got generic responses, oh, we'll look into it, and like, we're sorry that it happened, and it's never really been resolved. It got to a point my son actually has stopped talking to us about it. He stopped telling us about all the instances because he didn't want to have us get involved again, because after we got involved it ended up getting worse and we never knew about it. And that's, to me, one of the worst kind of the worst feelings, is that he was afraid to come to us and tell us about it. And we've only recently found out about that. And I know at several points during the year he told us about times where things took place and he actually asked us not to get involved. So we respected his wish and we didn't. So not every instance of the bullying ever got reported to the school, because he asked us to stay out of it at a few points, and we did, but unfortunately there were some things that crossed the lines. Recently there was an instance where another student told him that he should kill himself and some other things as well. So we ended up, that one, like, he told me, and I was in shock. I'm like, my first reaction is, how can, I know kids can be mean and brutal and all this, but there's a line that shouldn't be getting crossed. And I also wonder, this is one of the things I wonder, not just from this specific kid, but a more broad question of, where are the parents? What are they doing in this situation? Are they even being made aware? So that's one of the things. I don't know if this, how the school handles it, because they can never tell us, because it's the privacy of that child. They can't discuss how they handle the repercussions and punishments for disciplinary actions, which is frustrating when my kid is the one being bullied and having to deal with the repercussions of their inactions. So it's been a rough period. This last instance, we actually got to the point that where the school hasn't been, or at least from our view, the school hasn't been taking a serious enough action to resolve this, that we ended up going and contacting the police. Just a little backstory before I continue going on this most recent one. Probably about a month ago, there was another instance where my son was getting physically pushed and bullied and stuff into the fence around the field they have in the yard of the school, where the kids get to play and do various different activities while he was waiting for the bus to go home at the end of the day. And so we had a meeting with the school. We talked to them about it. We told them what happened, the story we were told, and that they would go back and they would review the video footage. So we know they have cameras all over the place at this school. So all the instances that we've talked to them about, they should be able to go back and confirm had happened. I don't know what level, and this is where they don't communicate, what level of action has been taken from that. So after that one, because it happened at the time when they were waiting for the bus, what ended up happening is, instead of, I don't know what they did or reprimanded the kid, but he never, from the sound of it, missed any time out of school. He was back in school the next day after they identified everything and went through their whole process. So clearly there was whatever disciplinary action took place, was, from my perspective, was pretty minimal. I know when I was a kid, if you got into an altercation, you were bullying, pushing, you were going to be suspended at least for a few days. But I don't know. They clearly don't handle it that way anymore. What I do know is, because it happened at the end of the day, and they usually let the kids play on the field, inside the fenced area on the field, while they're waiting for the bus to take them home, the action that was taken is that they're no longer allowed to play on that field when they're waiting for the bus. And to me, that's almost worse, because that's saying that they aren't able to monitor and oversee the environment accurately, sufficiently, and it's been kind of an issue. And by taking away the right to play because of somebody being kind of pushed around and bullied out there, it also then, from my view, people or other kids may look at it as my son's fault for telling on the situation that they lost, as opposed to the one who was doing the action. So it's been frustrating. But after that instance, we've checked in with my son a few times, and he always told us, nope, things are getting better. He's the other students being exceptionally nice to him, which was a little odd sounding, but I'm like, okay, maybe they did something, we just weren't aware of it. So maybe it happened. But with this most recent incident, we ended up, after the most recent incident, we ended up contacting the school resource officer for the school and had a conversation with them at the police station. And during that conversation, my son brought up that things at school actually have been worse. He just didn't want to tell us, was afraid to tell us, because he didn't want us to get involved out of fear of it getting even worse again. And to me, that's one of the worst feelings, is that my heart just sunk when he said that, because I want my children to be able to always come to me, even if if they don't want an action taken, and I want them to be able to know that they can communicate to us, to myself, my wife, and just that we are a safe space for them to come to and just let everything off their chest. So afterwards, we've had a conversation with my son about it, and he feels like he says he will try to communicate better with us. So that's hopefully positive, but it's been rough. And the fact he had been holding it in, we kind of realized, because after the previous situation over the last few weeks, he'd been kind of exceptionally moody. We were chalking it up to like end of the school year, just getting very busy, stressful, and other, like just the age too, and other things. But from talking to him, and after this last situation, when he finally let us know that, okay, no, it hasn't been getting better, like he finally got it off his chest about it, like there's been a noticeable change back. So he was internalizing it, and it was impacting his behavior. And unfortunately, like my parenting style, I don't put up with certain things, and I was like getting frustrated with his behavior, so it was kind of not beneficial from that end either. So I have work to do from my end to make sure that I'm trying to probe into kind of his situation more before getting frustrated. But it also it's a thing I just want to make sure, and like it's a learning experience for me that, okay, in the internal stress that he's trying to keep in because he's afraid of it getting worse and was afraid to talk about it, does have an impact on the behavior, the attitude, and other things. So I know what to look for. Hopefully I'll be able to spot the signs better in the future, so that I can try to ask him about things, or my wife can ask him about things. I know my kids tend to open up a lot more to my wife than to me, but I do try to stress to them that they can come to either of us with anything. But from a bullying perspective, I don't get it. And this statement's going to be a little bit broader, and I find many parents now, it's like, I know from my perspective, I'm like, my children are like, if I get a report of them being mean or bullying or doing something, I look at it as, you're guilty until you're proven innocent. If somebody's parent, if the school is coming to me saying something happened, until I get confirmation that it wasn't you, I'm looking at it that you did something, so you need to be honest, open, and really kind of help your own case. I know that's not the way everyone looks at things, but in the court of dad, that you're guilty until proven innocent. But the piece that bothers me is there's a huge number of parents that, oh, it's not my child. Well, it's never my child. Well, your child did something. No, it wasn't them. Or, oh, they would never do that. I don't get that. I'm like, if you're getting repeatedly told that your kid is doing something or reacting or has been, misbehaving, there's something there. You need to look into it, and you need to hold them accountable for it. Because if you don't, it's teaching them a bad life lesson that, hey, I can get away with doing things, and it may at some point in the future come back to bite them. But I also know my view of it, of the guilty till proven innocent, isn't always especially when it comes to behavior issues, isn't necessarily the perfect manner either. So I do try to balance it, and I feel that my wife is a good balance to me, because I tend to look at it as, okay, we're hearing from a source that you did something, and it's like I'm like, well, until we find out otherwise, we're gonna kind of have a talk with you. We're gonna kind of take things away until we figure it out. My wife is definitely, she tempers me a little bit on that, where it's like, okay, let's hold off before we do something and try to find out more information, but not necessarily let them just have everything. So it's been tough. So like, I've been trying to learn and improve myself through this. It's still a journey from that aspect, but it's like, I look at it and I'm trying to not like swear and just go off and make this so no one will watch it, but it's like, WTF, I'll just do that. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, why do parents not hold their kids accountable for their actions and behaviors, especially when there are numerous instances of things? There's that, and then it's, what the heck is going on with the school they're at, and the school. It's not the school that it used to be, and the fact that there seems to be no accountability at the school is a major concern. So luckily from one aspect, but also not so luckily from another, this will be the last year either of my children are at that school. My son's going to another school next year, which is a good move for him. That'll be a much more challenging academically environment for him, but also a new environment in terms of activities, people's opportunities. And then my daughter also looked at us at one point and she's like, I don't want to go here anymore. So we had a struggle. That one was a struggle and debate about it, but she finally looked at us and was like, I don't feel the school does what it needs to hold people accountable, and I don't feel that it's the right place for me, and that, like, my wife and I, we felt bad making the decision to send her where we're going to send her next year. But my daughter looked at us, and in one of the smartest things, no, that's the wrong way to say it, but in like a really mature manner, told us that, or looked at my wife actually in a really mature manner, was like, we're different children. We have different needs. So I'd like to go there because I feel it would be a better opportunity for me. So after that, after talking to other people, we made the decision that she's going to be going to a new school next year as well too. So it's been that much of a struggle this year, but this year was what finally broke the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of the needing to just fully be done with the school. There have also been previous years where there have been issues at the school where things had to escalate up to the point of physical before there were any actions taken by the school to discipline or take the appropriate actions against other students, where there had been numerous cases or instances of bullying or problem behaviors. So the school, I'm not going to name the school, though if you actually know me, you'll know the school, but I'm asking, please don't put it out there. The school knows what they've done. We've communicated it, and we're handling things through other means. But they've put themselves in a situation where I know we're leaving the school, and we're a multiple generation at this school family. And in talking with other parents, parents know what's going on across things. There are quite a few leaving for either academic issues, where they're not being challenged, the curriculum's just not where it should be, or because of the lack of accountability and the fear that the school can't or won't keep students safe. So this has been a little bit of a rant. I don't know what else to say. It's just been a really difficult year. My wife and I have had a lot of tough decisions, tough conversations we've had to have, and we feel next year both of our kids will be in a much better situation for each of them. But it's also sad to me that the school has declined to this point, and that the administration and leadership of the school either can't or won't make the appropriate changes and actions that need to be done. And they have no excuse in my book not to. So it's just been a tough one, and I hope the school can figure it out, because it always was a good school, and I hope they can figure out the disciplinary aspect of things, and actually being able to make it to keep kids safe. And that's really the big thing, is making sure kids are kept safe, because schools are supposed to be a safe and happy environment for them, or a safe and open environment for them to be able to learn and develop. And if kids are scared of bullying or the lack of repercussions and disciplinary actions when things happen and no one's held accountable, you're not teaching them the correct life lessons. You're not keeping them safe when they need to be. And this isn't even getting to some of the more severe things that happen at other schools. I know there are worse things that happen elsewhere, but I'm just talking about right now what my family's been dealing with through this, and I know others have had to deal with similar or even worse. And the bullying aspect of it, the really big thing that gets to me on that, especially when students or kids tell other kids you should kill yourself, in the news all the time. Not all the time, but frequently, all too frequently, you hear stories of middle school, high school kids who are taking actions to end themselves, end their lives, because of ongoing and escalating bullying situations that aren't being handled. So it's amazing to me that more families and more parents don't hold their own children accountable. I know I can't be the only one who feels that way, but that's what this is. I'm just very unhappy about the whole situation. Just needed to vent about it. I apologize if I rambled more than you wanted to see. If you run into situations like this, I do hope that you get better resolutions and things get handled appropriately. If you have students who are being bullied, but I will say the big learning, the big lesson I'm taking from this is really around, I need to be more perceptive and really watching for those changes in my children's behavior, and not just automatically chalk it up to stress or other things, because there could be something going on that they're afraid to tell you. And that's the thing that scares me a little bit, is it was just so easy to kind of chalk it up as he was just going through stress with school year ending, different sports and activities, just a lot of things going on, or just being a preteen, you're just going through changes and hormones, and it's a tough age too. So it was very easy, and almost too easy, to attribute his behavioral changes to that, instead of maybe there was something else going on. So that's the thing I need to be better, and I'm going to hopefully be better about watching for, is making sure he's open with us. And if he can't be open with me, at least hopefully he can be open with my wife. I know that both my kids tend to be better with that, but hopefully we encourage and we communicate and we give them that safe environment. That's my big hope, where they feel they can come to us, whether they're being bullied or whether they've done something that they just need to communicate, and then we need to help them figure out. So that's really where it stands. Thank you for putting up and listening to my rambling. Once again, I do ask, if you do know me, the school, the situation, please don't communicate it, put out there. I'm not looking for anyone to bash them. I'm not looking for anyone to go after them, badmouth them, or any other families that or students where things may have taken place. This is just me venting a little bit of frustration about bullying in general, the situation that we've handled, that we've been having to handle. So that's my ask. Feel free to, if you are going through something and you need to talk, feel free to reach out. I do try to answer any comments and messages I get. But if you have anything, I hope you can find people who can support you, who can give you answers and can help you navigate whatever situations. And hopefully you actually don't have any situations that you're having to deal with. That would be the ideal, perfect situation for everyone, is there just wouldn't be bullying, but we know that's never the case. So thank you again. I've rambled a little bit, but thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I hope everyone has a good day.